You're listening to a Frequency Podcast Network production.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Welcome to Thursday. My name is Brock.
I'm Dalby.
I'm very happy to announce that we are officially co-workers with Austin Matthews now.
We are not co-workers.
Technically, we are.
No, the company we work for owns the hockey team he plays for.
So he works for Rogers, and we work for Rogers.
No, he works for the Toronto Maple Leafs,
who are owned by Rogers, and we also work for Rogers. So thus, technically, we are employees or co-workers with the Toronto Maple Leafs.
I don't like this. We've never said that we were co-workers with the Toronto Blue Jays.
Well, that's because they suck.
Because they suck.
That's because they
never
suck.
Mind.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, we rip on them all the time like you would your coworkers.
That's true. So does this mean, if the Leafs, and I'm not saying they're going to, but if the Leafs win the Stanley Cup, how far through the organization do we hand out rings? Could we get a Stanley Cup ring for technically being part of the club?
I've been doing a lot of stuff with this team before I was even technically an employee, so I think I deserve one, but...
Do you think that this gives you a stake? Could you go to the ACC and, have a conversation with them? Guys, as a member of the team, I just want to say you need to work on this, this, and this.
If I ever meet anyone from the Toronto Maple Leafs, I'm going to be like, hey, I'm your coworker, Brock. Nice to meet you. We haven't met yet, but...
We've worked together for years, but it's great to finally put a face to the name, you know?
Yeah.
What would you do if they went, oh, yeah, no, we listen to you guys all the time?
I'd be over the moon,
I'd
dude.
probably shit my pants.
Something tells me they got better benefits than we do, though.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
5:31 in the morning, and I'm already done with the internet.
Oh, what did you find today?
I just started reading this article about a lady who was apparently dating a plane for the past 10 years.
Oh, that's right. It's. Did
you see this?
I did see this. It's over now, right? What a sad romance story.
It's, I don't get it, man. She was dating a Boeing 737 jetliner.
I'm not going to lie to you, brother. I didn't make it past the headline. As I was looking on the internet, I saw, woman breaks up with airplane after 10-year romance. And I went, that's not for me.
I thought it was fake, but if you text plane to 762-555, and we'll throw it on the podcast links too, she's done photos. She's kissing this plane. She's groping the plane. Look at how she's got her hand. It's like she's grabbing its junk.
Who keeps letting this woman on the runway?
Apparently, what she says is she was immediately attracted to its wings, winglets, and thrusters the first time she was at the airport and saw this bad boy.
Forgive me if I'm wrong, plane junkies, but are they not all the same?
I thought
so too. Is it not a fairly standard one wing looks like all the other wings?
And I'm confused on how you can call this a relationship, because she claims that she would have to only see the plane when she flew on the plane.
Well, yeah.
And then she basically, not like a meet and greet, but somehow she paid people at the airport to...
Give us some alone time.
To let her go into a hangar and...
Some private time?
I don't know if she, slid a dude $20 and was like, let me get back there.
What's it called when you visit someone in prison? A conjugal visit with a 747? And
I know it's 2024 and we're all open-minded, but this is a real quote from the lady. She said, the time in the hangar was the most beautiful moment of my life. And when I was with him, we enjoyed our time together. We kissed and I caressed him, and I'm planning to move in the hangar and live with the plane. I mean, I guess that didn't work out.
Apparently not.
I feel like it's a very one-sided thing, though.
Well, I take issue.
Did the plane want it?
I take issue with the we kissed. You can't both have kissed each other. Planes don't have lips.
It feels like the plane wasn't consensual in this.
That's true. Nobody asked the plane if it was into this. They all just took the word of a mad woman.
Was it an open relationship then? Because think about all the passengers that are coming in and out of that bad boy all the time.
Think of all the hangars that plane has spent a night in.
Yeah.
It's got to be poly at the very least.
The junk in its trunk all the time from all the luggage.
How many other people was this plane kissing?
I just feel like saying you're dating a plane is like saying you went to like the Fanny strip club and being like, oh, that stripper's in love with me.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, nah, dude. That's not how it works.
I'm going to take you away from all this.
So why a plane, though?
Right? Like,
A plane's not even the sexiest vehicle. Like,
no, people talk about like, oh, look at the sexy curves on that car and stuff like that. And even that, I'll say, is a little weird. But you look at a 747, this thing is not built to be attractive. It is built to get a large number of humans from one place to another.
A Honda Odyssey is sexier than a plane. 2 in the front, 5 in the back.
Dude, a Yaris is sexier than a 747. That thing's hideous.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
So there was a lady that was dating a plane for like 10 years, and we just can't wrap our heads around it. But
Allegedly consensual. We should mention that part. Allegedly consensual. We don't know.
didn't seem like it. We were just saying, like, planes aren't even the sexiest vehicles out there.
Especially not, because you could make an argument for some of the, like, really fancy looking private jets and stuff, but like a 747. That's just a big old jet airliner.
So we're gonna do a That's Hot or Not.
That's hot.
And we got a lot of vehicles texted in here at 762-555. First one, Pontiac Sunfire.
Oh, you know, there's an air of I can fix him to a Pontiac Sunfire. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's an attractiveness there because it's not quite in the best shape, but you're like, I see your potential.
It's a lot of people's first vehicle, too.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
you know, it's like that first boyfriend or girlfriend
Right.
where you don't realize all the bad.
It holds a little place in your heart because you don't know any better.
I'd say it's hot.
Hot.
I'd say it's hot.
That's hot.
What about the Pontiac Aztec?
No.
You can't make that hot.
Hot at all.
They even put it in Breaking Bad. That's all I think of it as, like the meth dealer's car.
That's just it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
This is a drug car. Whether that's what they wanted it to be or not, terrible idea.
It's so boxy. It can't be hot.
not hot.
PT Cruiser?
I don't think I can get behind a PT
What if it's a
Cruiser.
convertible PT Cruiser?
That you actually made it worse.
Yeah.
I had the ick, and now I really have the
Put
ick.
the bullet hole stickers on the back? That doesn't make it hot?
Okay, well now
It's like a tramp stamp?
kind of like a bad boy kind of thing. You know?
Yeah.
All right, maybe.
It could be hot. It could be hot.
It's a little dangerous.
What about rockets? I mean, we were talking about planes, but rockets in general.
I mean, very phallic, just in general.
If it's the Jeff Bezos one specifically, what is
Even
that?
worse.
The Blue Origin?
Yeah.
That's hot.
All the thrust and power behind it.
Yeah.
I don't think rockets do it for me, but if you told me it did it for you, I would get it.
That's hot.
I mean, the Challenger literally got hot. Too soon?
I don't know. Maybe not too soon, but I don't know.
Going from really hot to cold here. Snow plows.
Snow plows? If they're in front of me on the highway,
Not hot.
no, that's hot.
That's hot?
Buddy, that's protection. Lead
Yeah.
me to safety. If I just finish shoveling my driveway and they come ripping down my street, that's not hot.
I think you
That's
could,
an abusive relationship.
I think you could say a lot of trucks get really hot if they've got a little plow on the front too. You know, it's like when guys get beards and then when they shave, they're not hot.
Your F-250 got a lot less hot when you took the plow off.
I think an easy one to add to the hot list is the Oscar Mayer Wiener Mobile.
I mean, buddy, that's hot.
That's just sex appeal.
That's hot.
That's sex appeal
It's
right there.
almost too hot. It's almost putting it too out there. I like a little something left to the imagination. The Oscar Mayer Wienermobile just puts it all on the line.
Mini Cooper?
Mini Cooper? No, that's not hot. I've watched people pick them up and move them to prank people before.
Yeah.
It's just too little.
Yeah.
I need something with a little junk in the trunk, you know?
All right, we'll do a few more here. The beer truck from the beer store.
That's hot.
That's so hot.
That's hot.
Especially if it's got the Steve Austin hose on the side to spray the beer down. I don't know if that's a real thing or just wrestling, but that's hot.
And finally, the Zamboni.
Oh, Zamboni's hot.
The Zamboni's hot. It also keeps things very wet at all times.
Keeps everything nice and wet. Keeps everything smooth.
Oh, yeah.
Keeps everything moving. Makes the people happy.
Oh, yeah. It gets the ice nice and flooded.
You know what it is? The Zamboni is a hot dad. It's not necessarily the most attractive body, but it's so reliable. It just takes care of you.
Yeah.
Zamboni is a dad bod.
It knows its role.
That's right.
It knows its role. That's for damn sure.
And that's hot.
Now I'm turned on.
Well, I gotta go.
Gonna go drive in my car for a second. Chevy Trax.
I'll be in the parking lot.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
What about that frickin' train that goes like 1,000 miles an hour?
Oh,
The bullet train.
Oh, yeah.
Bullet train's pretty hot, but it's a whole different level when it goes through a tunnel.
I think trains all depend on which train it is. Like if it's a CN rail train,
Yeah.
not so hot.
No. Via
so
rail
hot.
stuck in a forest in Montreal. That's not hot.
Via rail could be hot sometimes, but only if you get like the VIP pass. You know?
And you don't have 100 cars that say Pro Car on the side of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll say those big, long oil hauling trains, there's something hot about commerce, you know?
It's like buses, you know, like a double-decker bus, hot.
That's hot.
School bus, legally not hot.
No.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Saw a story the other day that if you're down in Ottawa in the next little bit, you'll be able to go to the city's first Dine in the Dark restaurant.
I don't know if I'd ever want to try one of those. That feels weird. It's one of those ones where it's pitch black,
Yeah,
right?
like you walk in, they like welcome you, and then let me take you to your table. It's full, lights out, pitch black. All the servers are wearing like what are those called?
Night
vision glasses.
I get the idea because you're not supposed to look at your food and you're just supposed to enjoy the taste of it and everything like
it's
that. but-
allegedly supposed to heighten your sense of taste
Yeah.
by blocking out all your other senses. I just feel like it would be too uncomfortable the whole time.
I don't know if I trust myself with a knife. Like,
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like trying to find your food and trying to eat it properly. I'm definitely going to stab myself in the face at least
does it have a
once.
cool name at least?
No, that's the other problem I have with it. It's just called Dark Fork. And it's like, that sucks.
You could have done something way cooler.
You could have won me over by coming up with something cooler than that. Maybe I'm not in on the dark concept, but with the right name, you can draw in a crowd. Like, call it Blinded by the Bite.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that would be way neater.
I mean, there's so many songs. Paint It Black, Rainbow in the Dark, Dark Side of the Moon.
Oh, yeah. Black Hole Buns.
Black Hole Buns would
Just
be great.
Make it a sandwich joint, right?
Drinking in the Dark.
Drinking in the dark. Hot pot in the dark.
Yeah, that could work.
My prawns know what you did in the dark.
What's that Zeppelin song, Black Dog? Just call it Black Hot Dog. They just serve you hot dogs. You have to eat them in the dark.
Is that Kenny Wayne Shepherd's song, Stew on Black?
Yeah. Little Black Submarines.
Fell on Black Fillets?
Yeah. I think I've got the best one, actually. Welcome to the Black Buffet.
Welcome to the Black Buffet is it. Dark Fork in Ottawa, listen to our call, change your name, you can still fix this.
A buffet where you can't see anything, you can't see what you're choosing.
It's just tongs and spoons and you have no idea. And even not only do you not know what you're taking, but you don't know what you're mingling together on the plate. The flavors are all going to run together. I'm in. 100%.
The only way you can find the buffet is they play this sound.
Just over and over again.
You have to try and find it yourself.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
We've talked about this a few times. The old National Toy Hall of Fame down in Rochester, New York.
Oh, they got the inductions going?
They've got their new batch of toys that are going in, or sorry, that are nominated.
Oh, okay.
And now they'll have their panel vote, but they also do a fan vote over at toyhalloffame.org, where you can help some of your favorites get in. Some interesting ones this year. Pokemon trading card game. That's good. That's up for a nomination.
Big for 90s kids.
My Little Pony figures.
Yeah, it's big for adults too for some reason now.
Transformers action figures.
How is that not already in there?
The Stick was nominated in 2008. Transformers still on the ballot today.
Huh.
Makes no sense to me.
What else is on there?
They've also got Choose Your Own Adventure books.
Okay.
Which I thought was interesting.
Is that really a toy, or is that something like your mom made you read and then it kind of got cool?
I don't know. I again, the criteria, it's very much like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, where you've called it the Toy Hall of Fame. So now I expect it to be toys, but you've hit me with a book.
A book isn't a toy.
A book is not a toy, right? I love Choose Your Adventure
Your mom would
books.
say something like, it's a toy for your mind.
Well, that's, I think, what they're getting at with the whole, like, you get to pick the adventure.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that one.
Hobby horse.
Hobby horse?
The horse head on a stick.
Oh.
That's up for nomination. Tell me your thoughts on this one, all right? Because this is another one that I'm a little confused by. Balloons.
Oh, balloon is a toy.
Balloon is a toy?
Balloon is a toy. You ever play, like, keep ups with a balloon?
Keepy uppy?
I think that's one that, like, if you're, like, a deadbeat dad, you, like, blow up a couple balloons when it's your weekend with the kids.
And that's how you keep them occupied?
Like, there you go, Junior.
You live in, like, an adult apartment. You have no toys, so you just pick up some balloons from the dollar store?
I would argue a balloon is one of those things that a kid will play with more than their actual toys.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't...
You know what I mean? Where you're like, I bought you all these toys and you're playing with the balloon? Like,
I am trying to think now, and, like, my kids have a basement full of toys. Like, they have a playroom downstairs. Yeah. But if they get offered a balloon at, like, a restaurant or something like that, that balloon is coming home with us.
Whether it's the keep-ups or if it's a helium one, and then I mean, we've done it before where we just inhale the helium just to hear our voices.
I was going to say, I feel like the air balloon is for the kids, the helium balloon is for the grown-ups. We're the ones that are going to steal that.
Sure.
The other one that I thought was interesting, RC cars.
RC cars.
Feels like another one that's like, how is that not in already?
Yeah, and that's one of those toys that you use it a couple times and then it breaks on you.
Yeah. Last one that's going in, the trampoline.
Oh, yeah.
Trampoline, that's a no-brainer. Mm-hmm. That's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Although, maybe that goes in the rich kid toy Hall of Fame. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you had a trampoline growing up, I don't know if you're actually rich, but we all thought you were.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I made friends when I moved to Grand Prairie in, like, grade 3. I found a kid across the alley from us who had a trampoline. I literally see him jumping over our fence. And I was like, I have to befriend this rich kid.
I think we've all been friends with someone just to use their trampoline before.
Absolutely. You'd go over there, right? You'd establish the rapport with the kid. You become friends, meet the family, all that stuff. Eventually, you just felt like, well, I could just let myself into your yard. Mm-hmm. He would come home from somewhere and find you on the trampoline.
When I first switched schools in Milton to school Holy Rosary, my buddy Gareth was like, hey, I know someone who's got a trampoline, and we just went in their backyard when they weren't home.
Didn't even bother to do the friendship part?
Yeah, we just saw that they weren't home and just bounced on their trampoline whenever I stayed at his house.
I mean, like, it's trampoline and in your backyard pool. Above ground or below ground, didn't matter. When you were a kid, if someone had either of those two things, you just assumed their parents were millionaires.
If you had legit super soakers.
Oh,
yeah.
The yellow and with the orange
the
pump.
actual pump action ones, like your mom didn't cheap out and go to the dollar store to get your water guns.
Dude, next level. If you had the super soaker with the backpack,
yeah,
then you were just like, wow, okay, this is the richest kid we've ever met.
Your dad's Scrooge McDuck. also add to the list of rich kid toys a swing set, but I'm saying one of those ones that's anchored to the ground. Maybe it's got the wood on it or whatever. Not one of the ones that can rust.
No. And not one of those ones that, like, if you get going to, like, parallel to the ground, it's going to start, like, rickety falling apart. No, this is anchored. This will be there when your parents sell the house to the next family.
Yeah, it's that, and if you had an actual skating rink in the backyard, I'm not talking a pond or anything.
Yeah.
If your old man actually took the time to get
flood the backyard.
to flood the backyard, put some wood. If you had the boards up, you're legit rich.
762-555. What was something that only rich kids had in your mind when you were a kid?
Steve just said a treehouse.
Treehouse? You were either rich or your dad was really good with tools. Mm-hmm. Like, your dad was red-green at that point in your mind. You didn't have to be rich, but you had to have a dad who really loved you.
Or you moved into a house that had a treehouse.
Also a possibility.
And then you never went in it because it was so crappy.
Too rickety. You were too scared to fall out and die.
The Brock and Dobby Podcast.
My buddy's dad always had the most up-to-date electronics, but now this is in the 80s, so remember the remote controls that had the wire on it?
Oh, for the TV.
Exactly, yeah. So he had the one with the two buttons that was actually a remote control, made those big loud clicks. You could do the volume and the channel, that's it.
Yeah.
So I thought that was great. But then he bought one of the first laser disc players, but that was the one with a plastic case and it was like the size of a record. I thought they were rich because they had those two things.
Dude, I remember seeing a Laserdisc for the first time and just being mind blown. Like, how do you have this space age technology?
Right? Like, where does the needle go? I don't understand. Oh, boy, I'm old.
Not old, just vintage.
Yeah.
Vintage, there you go. I'll
Like
go with
a
that.
Hall of Fame toy.
Good times.
Take care, man. Take care. Let's say, like, with electronic based, it's like if anyone had the new game system right away, right?
So I've seen a few people texting in saying anybody that had a Nintendo, like the NES, was a rich kid. We got ours from a garage sale, okay? We were not a rich family.
I'll say if it was like you got it, like if you got a new game system at Christmas time, you know, or like right when it came out.
Or the accessories. If you were a kid that had the Power Glove for the Nintendo, you were playing games with your fingers. No. That's rich kid territory.
Yeah.
Also, another one that I've seen that really syncs with me. All the people texting in Power Wheels. Pow, Power Wheels. You look out the window, you've got your little dinky bike, or maybe you had a scooter or something, and you see a kid driving down your street, down your block in a Jeep.
It sucked when you had like the Fisher-Price like Flintstones where you got to use it with your feet.
And this guy comes drifting past you at age 7.
Yeah.
Like, go to hell, Tim.
Someone said if they just had name brand things in their house, like if you had name brand soda, name brand everything.
Right. If they were like, do you want a pop? And they offered you a Coke instead of a like no-name brand or any of those types.
If you had more than one fridge, like if you had a fridge in the garage, that's a sign of you were being rich. Or if you had a finished basement as well.
Honestly, there was a time, and maybe this is just because I grew up in the territories, if you had a basement, period, even unfinished, it was like, ooh, Mr. Rockefeller bought the big house.
I think maybe in the territories the ground was so frozen that you couldn't. Might have been.
It was a big deal, all right?
We do got, I believe it's Kyle on the phone. Kyle, how you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
What's something another kid had that made you instantly think they were rich?
Oh, man, like ATVs or dirt bikes.
Oh, yeah. I knew so many kids up in the territories that would, like, have their own quad or their own skidoo.
Yeah.
And it was just like, you just watch them in school sitting in their Fox racing jackets. You're like, you suck.
Yeah, no doubt. Or if they race snow machines, too.
Yeah.
Oh, if they were, like, legit racing, yeah, they're absolutely rich. But I will say, it's either that fine line of the parents are rich or they're bad with their money.
Yeah, that's fair.
You're right. If they're racing and they've got, like, the proper team and all that stuff, that's rich only. But you're right. There is a level of, like, we look rich, but we just have so much debt.
Yeah, no doubt.
Dad likes his toys more than he likes us.
Yeah, I never had those things, kid.
Dad can't buy you Christmas presents because he spent it all on FXR jackets.
But your whole house just smells like two-stroke.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Some tough news for one of the biggest brand names of all time. Tupperware has officially filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
You want to know why? It's because nobody actually buys Tupperware. We just steal it from our relatives on Thanksgiving.
All the Tupperware that will be sold in the world has been sold, and now we just steal it back and forth from one another.
It's kind of like fur trading, you know? Like,
well, the other thing is that Tupperware used to be the only game. You know, they used to be the only place you could get these sealable containers. People would have Tupperware parties. They would gather around and look through catalogs and make huge orders. And now, like, Ziploc, Glad, every kitchenware company is selling sealable containers.
Oh, you can go to Dollarama. I mean, Amazon, like a lot of things, is probably killing it, right? Where you can just get a bunch of stuff from there rather than Tupperware direct.
But you know what I thought was really funny is that, you know, all these other places are going to continue to sell sealable containers, and we're going to keep calling them all Tupperware, even after Tupperware is dead and gone.
Tupperware is bigger than the brand itself. Like, nobody actually just calls them sealable containers.
No, it's all Tupperware. No matter what the brand name is, it's all Tupperware, and it's crazy to think that that name will last longer than the company itself, who is now like begging courts to let them try and sell out their inventory before they disappear.
It's kind of like when you think of tissues, you think of Kleenex first, right?
Exactly, yeah. But also, I wanted to say this. I love when we can pat ourselves, you and I, on the back for our brilliant ideas on this show. And as I was reading this story about Tupperware going out of business, something went off in my memory, which you know is rare. And I went looking through our archives, and I found a clip from this show 2 years ago that could have saved Tupperware's business. Can I play this for you?
Yeah. Someone needs to open a store called Lids, and all they sell is just Tupperware lids.
And all they sell is various shapes and sizes of Tupperware lids?
I know I'm not the only one having this problem. Like, I feel like if we opened up a business and we just sold Tupperware lids, boom, we'd be making so much cash.
Where would you get your inventory? Like, where do you go to order Tupperware lids?
We start stealing lids from other people, and then we resell them.
Gently used Tupperware.
I think we're onto something here.
Even 2 years ago, your plan was to steal from other people. But it's a whole untapped market. No one still to this day is selling solo Tupperware lids to replace the ones you always lose.
I mean, that's what they should have done. They should have had like a newsletter go out and been like, hey, you can buy a bunch of extra lids.
Right.
It would have been the move.
Go through your cupboards. See which ones are missing lids. Go to the website and order fresh new lids sent to your house with 2-day shipping.
Yeah.
Tupperware would be the biggest brand in the country, but nope. They filed bankruptcy because, once again, not enough people are listening to our brilliant financial advice.
I do still love the idea of that being a store because, I mean, anyone can go into their cupboards right now and you've probably got a bunch of Tupperware with missing lids or lids that don't even fit any of the things that are in there.
I try to do my Tupperware drawer, my resealable container drawer about every 6 months, and I throw if the lid doesn't have a box, and if a box doesn't have a lid, it's in the garbage.
I don't know where they go.
Disappearing through a magical portal through your cupboards. Either that or people are inviting you over to their house and you're just taking them all.
But why would you just take the lid?
I don't know. Why are you just
I don't
taking
just take the lid. I take the whole thing. Because I don't buy Tupperware. I'm the reason they went bankrupt.
What a thing to put on your resume.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Apparently, Earth will obtain a second moon this month.
Why do you say it like we're in like a trade with one of the other planets? We're giving up a first-round pick to Jupiter for one of their moons.
Apparently, there's a tiny asteroid that is acting like a new mini-moon, and it's supposed to stick around for the next 2 months before it heads back to the asteroid belt.
Really?
I don't understand how any of that works, but doesn't that seem like I know there's the conspiracy side of me, but that seems like a distraction from something.
100%. Absolutely. Oh, we're having an asteroid over for an orbital play date before we send it back home?
I feel like most of the time we hear about these asteroids that could hit Earth and this one's just chilling.
Yeah. Hey, guys, if you happen to be looking up in the sky and you see an object fly towards Earth, stop, hang out for 2 months, and then go away. Don't worry about it. Totally normal. We're just getting a second moon.
This is the kind of stuff that keeps my tinfoil hat on.
I think I'm with you on this one.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Ed's word of the day.
Let's see what he's got.
Good morning. Today's word is jibe. Yep, jibe. J-I-B-E. Jibe. Anyways, it's to be in accord or to agree, and to utter taunting words. Well, those kind of seem to be a bit different. Anyways, that's about it. Have a great one. Cheers her up.
I thought he was saying jive.
Hang on. He's saying jibe?
Jibe.
Have I been using the wrong word my whole life?
I don't know.
I have always said, like, two people getting along. He's saying that's jibe. I've always said, like, oh, these two people really jive together. I really jive with that person.
Yeah.
Also, he says the alternative meaning for it is, like, to kind of talk smack about something. I have always said talking jive.
Yeah.
Not talking jibe.
It's jibe, I guess.
Ed just undid my whole world.
The more you know. So jibe is basically like another word for vibes, basically.
I said like a much older sounding version of it. Yeah, like, well, we vibe together. I would have said jive. We jibe. I don't like it.
Well,
I hate it.
You know what? I actually think we should start using it because I hear a lot of the youngins out there. They're always like, I don't like the vibes in here. The vibes are off. The vibes this. I think, considering we're getting older and older, we should just start saying jibes. Like, you go in somewhere, you're like, I don't like the jibes in here.
Can I be honest? I don't like the vibes about the word jibes.
I don't like the jibes that you have about jibe.
It doesn't feel right coming out of my mouth. I do not jibe with jibe.
You're not being very Marky Mark. I'm not liking the good gybrations that are coming from you right now.
I hate that. I hate it so much.
If you are over the age of 25, start using jibe instead of vibes, all right?
Good jibes only.
Good jibes to all of you, all right? Jibe, jibe, jibe. Use it wherever you can, all right?
For more Brock and Dalby, tune in weekday mornings 5:30 to 9.
The Brock and Dalby podcast is brought to you by badshop.ca, the Brock and Dalby merch store. With all proceeds going to the Canadian Cancer Society.